Okay, great. All right. So this Zoom tonight is about going diamond. And here's the deal, guys. What they will say, what you'll hear corporate say all the time, because they understand all the money side of this business, is when you go diamond, that gives you the permission to write your own checks. How you can increase your check in this business is huge. When I went diamond, I remember that it replaced, I didn't quit my job, but I was making as much as my full-time job as a receptionist at my girls' school as I was as a diamond in the business working this an hour every day outside of that. And that was super exciting. So tonight, our goal is to go, you know what? You can go diamond. Your journey might look a little bit different, right? Because they'll say, if you look at the average income chart, there is a jump. 8% of distributors in the business will go ruby, and just over 1%, less than 2%, will ever go diamond. And it's not that they can't, it would just be that they don't. So what the goal is tonight is to unlock in ourselves that we can all go diamond, and our friends and family can go diamond, and you can grow this business. It can be life-changing for you, and it can be life-changing for the people you love. And so that's it. That's all I got to say, because I want to hear from these guys. And we are going to start off with Danielle. I'm super excited. Okay, are you there, Danielle? Did I get the right one?
I'm here.
Okay, yay! I do not know what's going on with my screen. It's not changing to you.
I don't know. Is it doing it now?
There it is. Yay! Okay. There you are. I'm like, it's just hanging out with Melissa Dean. It likes her a lot. It's like, you're not
Probably better if it's not on me, because I don't have like makeup on and I'm not feeling good. So I haven't fixed my hair and I don't have makeup on. So it's probably better if it's on one of you pretty ones.
Stop it. You're beautiful. Okay. Tell us your journey. Everybody tonight has such a different journey. So I'm like, this is one of my favorites. Might say that with everyone, but tell us about your journey going diamond in the business.
Yeah. Okay. So I think y'all have all heard like why I joined the business or how I joined. So I'm not going to go over that as much because I feel like I've done tips and top. So I don't want to re-talk about it. But anyway, when I first started the business, I started it because my husband was mainly supposed to be starting it. But then once I started realizing, okay, like real people can do well in this, and there's actual like real tips that can get you to each rank in the business, I was like, well, why would I not do these things if it's possible for anybody to do it? And so that's when I started realizing, I want to be successful. And when I joined, there was a Ruby bonus that I didn't get. And so I was like, how can I go diamond? Everybody talked about diamond is the most amazing thing. But I was like, how can I even go diamond if I can't get to Ruby? And I missed my Ruby bonus. And maybe like where y'all are at in your journey, maybe you've thought the same thing. Like, how can I go diamond if like I'm not even in a good place now? And that's kind of like how I was feeling. I was like, all these other people have gone diamond and I haven't. So like, how will I ever get to that? But everyone was so excited about the bonuses and about conference coming up that it really made me like excited about it too. But I still felt like, well, it can't happen for me. But there was a point where, I heard people talking about like conference and how all this amazing stuff will happen at conference. And I kind of just started like waiting until conference because I was like, oh, let me just like kind of see. Like I thought like magic potion was going to come out or something, but I kind of just was like in this waiting mode a little bit. I was still working my business, like I was still being consistent, but just not like with the same type of energy behind it. And then once conference came out, like everybody, well, not everybody, but a lot of people did go diamond right away because they had actually been like working it like a lot before conference, like trying to go diamond before then. And I wasn't actually like trying to go before then, but so I didn't promote right after conference, but I did promote like a few months later. And I remember so many people just had like, they would post on their walls, like, 21 days left to get the bonus. Like every day it was like this countdown of like 19 days left. And I just started having FOMO. I was like, I don't want to miss out and like be not getting it. So I got it the last month that they had the bonuses available. But, I really never knew if I could go diamond. And, when I look back at like what I had to overcome in order to get diamond, I feel like there's two things I most had to overcome. Number one was like, I was terrified of what people thought about me. And so I wasn't like really putting myself all the way out there and being completely all in because I was so afraid of what people would think about me. And then number two, I had to overcome just thinking that it was never going to happen for me. Like that was something that I really did have to overcome, because when you think that something's not possible, you really don't put the same level of action forth that you would if you think that it is possible. And so I think a lot of times, like we kind of take ourselves out of the game before anything else really does, because we're like, oh, well, that's not possible for me. So we don't put that level of action forth that we would if we definitely knew that we could do it. Like if somebody was like, hey, if you just go all in, there's no way you won't promote, then you would probably go all in. But like, I think I was like trying to protect myself from like getting my hopes up and thinking that it couldn't happen for me. So like I wasn't going all in right away. So then I did start to go all in, and I was like, okay, whatever tips they tell me, I'm going to do any tip that they tell me. Like anytime somebody says like, this is what to do, I'm going to do it. And I'm just going to go all in and not care about what people think about me, which I should have done that from like even before the business, but whatever. And I was just like, I'm going to go all in. And, I didn't promote like the day I decided to go all in. Like I could have been like, well, why isn't it happening like the second? But I just like kept waking up and going all in. I'm like, okay, I'm all in. I'm going to do this, and just speaking that belief. And then I did promote to diamond, and then my husband did it. And obviously I promoted beyond diamond too. So I know that everybody, like if there's anybody who's like, I just don't know if I can, I'm like, no, there's literally no one in the world that can't. There's literally no one in the world that can't. Like we have a blind person on our team, so it's like every single person, no matter your age, no matter anything that you tell yourself, I know that you totally can. And as far as, or wait, what else is this? What else should I share, Stacey?
Yeah, no, you're like right there. I think really quick, like how many people have either said I've had to overcome thinking this was for me, or how many people are like, yeah, that's right where I am. I need to get over that. And so one thing I would love for you to share before your tip is just how did you overcome that? Just speaking out, like what'd you say every day?
I mean, I was just like, you know what? I'm never going to make it happen if I don't give it my all. So like I'm shooting myself in the foot, and there's no point in me like doing this halfway. I might as well go all in and actually give myself a chance to accomplish it and keep going all in, because every person who I saw was doing that was promoting. So I was just like, I have to trust something greater than my fears. Like there's no point in just trusting like the doubts that you tell yourself. And whether we're talking about diamond or whether you're going for another goal like bigger than diamond and it still feels impossible to you, the same thing applies. Like you will never know unless you just go all the way for it. Like try. I feel like I wasn't even fully trying to go diamond. Like I wanted it, but I feel like I wasn't actually even like trying. Like, okay, I need this and I need to get this. Like, you know, and so I feel like I just started like actually like trying everything. And I posted on my mirror, I posted it on my like our car. I just started speaking. I actually was posting like I'm going diamond, because I was like, if I just like post about it, then like I'm gonna feel like I have to do it, because I was scared of what people think about me. So I was like, okay, let me like try to use my fears for like the good instead of just the bad. But I just started talking about it, and I don't ever feel like I had 100 perfect belief. Like I don't feel like there was ever a time where like all the doubts and fears were completely removed. So you can promote even if like they're still there, but it's just about what you do when they're there. And so I was like, okay, if I'm fearful, and that's the thing, like I think I was scared that if I put the work in, is it going to be worth it? And I just didn't want to like waste my time. But I was like, you know what? There's all these people that it's been worth it for. Like the only people that it's been worth it for are the ones who put their time in and they go all in. The ones who don't, it might not be worth it for them. So it's like, I want to be the one who's like putting it all out there, going for this all the way, and like not stopping until I get there. And when somebody said like, if you don't stop until you get there, you're going to get there, I was like, okay, well then like I will do it. So, I just really tried. And like I said, it didn't happen like this day I tried, but at a certain point I was like, I'm not going to even say, well, it didn't happen the day I tried. So like, is it going to happen? Like, I'm just going to keep saying it's going to, I'm just going to keep going until it does. And so just, I mean, it's one thing to take like quitting the business off the table, but like you have to like really take like those like doubts and fears, like not take them off the table because they will still be there, but like, what are you going to do when they come? It's like, just put action for it. Like I tried every time I felt a doubt or felt like this wasn't going to be worth it. I was like, okay, you need to go do something for your business. You need to go like work your business. And truly it does work. And it is so worth it. Like I can't imagine had I not done it, then where would we be? So it's like every ounce of the time that you put into it. I literally thank myself like almost every day, and God too, because like he gets all the glory for it. But like, I'm like, thank you, Danielle, 4 years ago that you kept working every day, because like I'm still reaping the blessings of working it every day before. So it was just taking those fears and like really saying that these don't have like the last say for me. These fears and this doubt and this like insecurity doesn't have the last say. And I'm just going to try and put action forth based off of, where I want to go and like my dreams and what God's word says, and everything is possible and not what I'm feeling or saying. So that's what I tried. And my biggest tip would be honestly like asking people and messaging. And that was what I was really scared to do at the beginning. But the more people you ask, it's true, the more people who are going to sign up. And I just saw Tracy Douglas wrote, you're not consistent. And that's the biggest thing, is that, so many times we can be like all in and try for like a day, and then the next day we don't. And I was just like, and that's what I was doing before I promoted. So like some days I would spend exorbitant amounts of times, but then the next day I would like not spend hardly any time or my heart be in it or be trying at all. So I was like, I'm going to try every day. I'm going to try every single day. And it doesn't mean I was working like 24 hours a day every single day, but I was just trying my best, you know what I mean? So whatever your best is, y'all know that. I don't know. That's going to be different for everybody, but I was like, I'm just going to try my full best. You're never going to not get to a goal in this business if you don't give up. Like you will get there, but you're going to get there so much slower if you aren't like consistently trying and giving it your all every day. And if you do that, you're going to get there faster, and then you're going to see that reward faster, which is going to make you have the confidence to even go to the next rank faster. And then you're going to be like, oh my gosh, this is so worth it, and even just for us, like we have made over $10,000 a month every single month for 3 years now. So it's like, that's pretty crazy in this business, like what it can do for your life and your family, and that security and that consistent paychecks, like, and it really is so much because every single day I gave it that all, and I had consistency. So my paychecks are consistent, Yep. So it's just so worth it. And I would just say, whether it's diamond or, double or any goal, but definitely get to diamond. Like you have to get to diamond, because it's really true. The faster you get there, the more you're going to make for like all your years. But once you get there, and any goal that you're going for, know what you need to get there and try your hardest every single day. And just don't even give yourself away to be like, well, no, it's not going to work for me. Cause like, that's not even the truth. Like there's not even the truth. I've never had any person on my team who's actually going all in consistently and it not work out for them. You know what I mean? So it will, if you just keep going.
100%. I love that. Just keep going. And I think a challenge.
Oh, wait, Stacey, you're muted.
Oh, whoops. Thank you so much, Danielle, for doing this and sharing with us, even when you don't feel good. But I feel like it is so powerful for everybody to hone in and just, do the thing and go all in. Don't hold back. Don't stop. When you feel like, one of the things I love that Danielle said is, when I didn't feel like doing, when I was feeling down, I did something for my business. So that's the key, guys. Put that in your head. When you don't feel like doing something, send some messages out. That was her tip that she gave you. Ask people. That's planting a seed. You should be asking somebody every day. Remember, it's not your job to decide if somebody should be in the business or not. It's your job. It's your job to ask them, and they get to decide. And so I love that. And what I would challenge everybody on here tonight is take a selfie or find a picture of yourself and put it in your story. Okay. If you can't put it up on your page, we'll start there. I want everybody to tell us what you are. So if you're not a diamond yet, I want you to write I am diamond in the chat. If you're already a diamond, say I am whatever it is, because we're going to speak that into our mindset. And then I challenge you all, take a selfie and put it in your story or whatever and say I am, and just put it out there. Start putting yourself out there. Okay. Thank you, Danielle. That was so awesome. Okay. Like we said, everybody has a different story. And Danielle, that was 6 months, right? I think, yes, 6 months to go diamond. So that's her story. Now we have Krista. Say hello.
Yay.
Yay, Krista. I know your story is different than 6 months. So why don't you hop into that and tell us your story?
All right. So, mine is not a 6 month. Mine is not a 1 year. Mine's not a 2 year. So, but my story is all about being consistent, staying faithful, and locking arms with those that are going to work with you. So I joined back in May 2015. One of my best friends asked me, to try a product. And right away I was like, wait, what's in it? Because even back then, I was all about the ingredients. I didn't realize that I was a green. I didn't realize. But the cool thing about it was, I have to tell you who she is. Krista Alcala, who is Yadis's sister-in-law. Kristy's no longer in the business, but I am forever grateful to her for asking me. So like, if you have like a little tiny desire to ask someone, like we totally need to, we need to for sure. So even though she's no longer in the business, I am so grateful that she asked me. And so at the beginning, all I wanted to do was use a product. All I wanted to do was use the new you, because at the time I was giving workout classes, I'm a Zumba instructor. So I was like working on muscle definition. And so she thought of the right person, to come to. So, I thought, well, I might use a product. I'm not too sure. And then she tells me, well, maybe you should do this with me. And I said, wait a minute, do what? And she says, like sell the products. I'm like, So I was like, I'm not gonna do that. I've never tried anything like that before, And so I told her, what, I'll think about it. I'll pray about it. And so I did. I prayed about it. I had never really heard about the business before, but I did try a wrap. I had tried a wrap a few months before that. Crazy thing is, when I wore the wrap, we didn't take a before and after picture. And this was from a different friend. We didn't take a before and after picture. We didn't measure. We didn't do any of that, right? The only thing that I noticed, two things that I noticed. Stretch marks were a whole lot lighter, and my jeans fit a whole lot loose. And I'm thinking, that's just crazy. That, I had that made such an impact in my mind, but it was only temporary. So, I was amazed for like a couple of days, but then after that, I just kind of, I forgot about it. So I could have very easily started up, with my friend. I could have become a distributor, on her team, but obviously it was not God's timing. It was not his plan to join with someone else. So I started up with Krista. Funny thing is, I couldn't even sign myself up. Here I was on her website. I couldn't even sign her up. I'm like, I can't, and it was, I don't know, it was like 11:59 or something. I'm like, I can't do it. So I sent her all my information and she signed me up. Super easy. But I have, in like my time frame, I think I had like challenge after challenge, and life gets thrown at you. It really does. And it's just going to be like, we have to determine how are we going to like cope with it, really. I think the biggest thing is, I don't necessarily share a lot of, I don't want to say negative, but I don't share like, stuff that is going to make someone feel sad. I don't share that on social media. I'll share that with, with my friends, face to face. So one of the biggest things that I think that I had to, deal with was what was the death of my nephew. So and I feel that this is very, very relatable or related because my mom was a distributor at the time. We were at a sample party and I received a phone call that my nephew had passed away and he was only 25. um and so of course, that was rough. It was tough and it's still rough. It really is. But he passed away in January. We went to conference in February. I dedicated my business to him. His name is Jacob. His favorite color is neon green. That's the year that I dyed my hair neon green. And I told him, I said, you know what? I'm gonna do your workouts because he was a gymnast. And I said, I'm gonna do your workouts. I'm gonna dedicate this business to you. And once I make diamond, and I promised him that I was gonna make diamond, and I didn't care how long it was gonna take, but and I told him, maybe I don't know, spirit to spirit, I don't know, but I dedicated, the business, and I said, I'm gonna make diamond. And because I made diamond, I got my tattoo, got the tattoo, and made sure that it had neon green in there. But that was my first challenge. And then later on that year in December, my father-in-law passed away. That was rough on everybody. Shortly after, my mother-in-law passed away. And during that, just during all of that, of course, you have like a little life going on. But with that happening, we have to be consistent. We have to still message. We have to still like be close to the fire and staying close to your friends, to your network. But life's gonna happen, and obviously death is gonna happen. But one of the cool things that I really like to do to spread the word about our products, yes, I use social media, love using Facebook. My favorite, you'll see that I post on social media, I say, when I meet a Facebook friend in person, that's my favorite. Some of my best friends have come from Facebook, crazy. But I also like to do networking events. We have like breakfast with friends. I go out and I socialize. We have like cocktails with friends. There's lunches and brunches. And if you're having an event, more than likely I'm going to be invited because I go out there on purpose and I bring some of the girls with me. I tell them, let's go, because when someone wants someone to present on health and wellness, I want them to think about me. Mm-hmm. And in fact, that actually happened. I got a phone call yesterday. A gentleman called me and he said, hey, can you please come out to our business? Because we really need you to talk to us about, health and wellness and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, sure, I would love to go. When is it? And he's like, tomorrow night, meeting tonight. I'm on, no, can't do it. But that's what I want. I want to, I guess, brand myself so people can know, if they're looking for weight loss, I'm your girl. If you're looking for, if you wanted to grow out your hair, that's me. Come to me. I want them to come to me. What else? So many different things.
I love that. So you joined, you've had life happen, you're still having life happen.
Sure.
It was 4 years to go diamond. 4 years. Which is amazing. I think that's where people come to, like, oh, I didn't go diamond in 3 months like everybody else. I'm going to quit. This isn't for me. And some of you right now might be watching tonight and going, maybe this isn't for me because I'm not promoting like so-and-so, but here's the deal. Your journey is your journey. And sometimes you just got to put your blinders on and you got to go, maybe it's not Lord when, maybe it's Lord what? What do you want me to do today in this business? What do you want me to get out of this business today? What can I, where can I grow in this business today? And you will continue to grow and learn, and your business will continue to change as you go through it. And just going through even what you've gained out of sticking with it and being persistent and being that person is awesome.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I feel that even though I wanted to be diamond, that's your goal. That's your first goal. Once you join the business, that's your first goal. And I always wanted it, but it wasn't until I felt it deep inside. I felt it when we were at conference. I said, I'm going diamond. That's it. It's happening. that is it. And I honestly did lock arms with like 5 of the girls on the team, you know, because it's no fun to go diamond by yourself.
Right.
It's really not.
It's not fun by yourself.
Yeah, it's not. So, I mean, we locked arms, and I mean, I just put my head down. I'm like, let's do it. Let's do it. And on that very evening, it happened. And I just like kind of stood there and I was like, wow. Just, you know, like I just promoted. But the crazy thing is, I felt so much more, like I felt so happy for my friend Monica, because her father had just passed away. And she was like working like crazy, and she just put her head down, and we were there all working together. And Monica promoted to Ruby. And I felt like the celebration was more for her, because you know what I mean? So in this business, we stick together with whatever, you know, life throws our way. And it's more about a commission sometimes. Sometimes it's more about like that, but more than the bonus, it's more of like the relationships and the friendships that we're actually building. Because let's say if something were to happen, and if we're done, like if let's say we quit the business or something, which Lord willing that won't happen, but I think that our friendships will still be there.
Absolutely. Okay, in 30 seconds, give everybody a tip.
Ooh, don't compare your story, and stay consistent. Like every single day. Get your mind right first thing in the morning, because if your mind's not right and if your heart's not right, then forget it.
Right. You're right. You're so right. Thank you, Krista, so much for sharing with us and sharing your journey. Man, keep your mind right and stay consistent. And listen, that's somebody who had a goal for 4 years that stayed consistent and did it. And so killed it. Okay, Rebecca, I'm looking for you, girl. There we go.
Hello.
Hello. Yay. All right. Tell us your story real quick.
So I started as a customer from a host of posts that Stacy put up. I didn't really have the money to do the products. We were about to go on vacation and I wanted to be skinnier. And so I paid extra money and bought products and lost 15 pounds. And then I got pregnant. So I stopped doing the products. And then, so that was like in May of last year. In October, I put up a host of posts for Stacy and got a lot of comments on it. So she messaged me and asked if I would be interested in doing it with her. And I was like, no, I've done that before. Not interested. No, thanks. And then come like November, going into December, we were really struggling financially. We weren't going to have Christmas, and I was struggling with like having to tell my little boys, like, we can't buy you anything, and how we were going to pay the bills and pay off loans that were coming in, and just different things that we had going on. So I'm a stay-at-home mom, and at that point I was looking for a job. I was searching Craigslist and Facebook ads and looking everywhere that I could to try to find a job to provide for us. I got a couple interviews. I put out a ton of applications, didn't get any jobs. And I was like, okay, Lord, what am I going to do? Because we don't have enough to make it through this. And then mid-December, I saw a host of posts for the business, making $500 from your phone. And I was like, okay, curiosity will get me this time. I'll ask about it. And so I got info on it, and it was actually from a different person. It wasn't from Stacy. But I got the info from her, and I was like, oh, okay, thanks. I already have an It Works person. And so I went back to Stacy and I was like, hey, I think I want to do the business with you after all. So I joined the next day. So that was December 13th last year. And then at that point in time, I was about 6 months pregnant. Maybe that could be off. But I was really pregnant, and I had a horrible sinus infection. I had had it for 2 weeks. So I was like in bed, couldn't move, my head hurt, and I had 2 toddlers that I was trying to keep up with during the day. So the message groups getting started and things like that, Stacy was doing really good at checking in with me, and I was like, I'm not going to respond to that. I'm just not even going to open it. I'm going to leave it there. Or I would open it and I'm like, oh, that's a lot of messages. I can't keep up with that. So we'll just move on. And then I would read a few things, but I wasn't really, I'm an information person. I'm a green. So I wanted to be able to read all of it before I really jumped in. So the day after Christmas, I was like, okay, I need to take some time and actually look at this. So I was like 2 weeks later, went back probably through all of the messages in the thread and read all of it. And I was like, okay, I'm going to go for this. I have a few days left and I can get $100 shopping spree. And so I just went for it from there. That was the end of December. I think I got my shopping spree in a week. I went ruby in January and then went emerald in February. I would say I just did massive action on all of it. I messaged a lot of people. I got to 5,000 friends. I did all of the things. I posted multiple times a day. Whatever, I joke that like whatever Stacy tells me to do, I'll do it. So there have been times where she accidentally sends me a post to put up and I'm like, okay, if you want me to put it up, I'll do it. But so I just did all of that. And then in March, the beginning of March, I had my baby. So March 7th. And that was like bonus month. Like that was the last month for it. And I was like, okay, I've got to get to Diamond. I'm on track and I'm going to go for it. So I did. I was in bed with my baby. Thankfully, my hubby was home. So he was able to take care of the boys and keep up with the house. But I probably just messaged and added friends all day long, you know, when I wasn't taking a nap or whatever. Just made it work with my schedule and where I was postpartum, and went Diamond in 3 months. So that was fast and fun.
It was fast and fun. You were fast and furious. And just thinking pregnant, newborn, and 3 under 5, right? Under 4? 3 under 5.
My oldest is 5 now, but he just turned 5.
Yeah. So 3 under 4, Diamond in 3 months, work in the business, at taking massive action is something that will be so beneficial. So Danielle talked about massive action, and that's just something to do. Okay. One tip you want to give everybody.
I would say find what works for you. So like at that point in time, like the month that I went Diamond, I was able to just be in bed all day long and message all day long. And that worked really well then. Now my baby is crawling and, you know, I have 2 others that are under 5. So I can't just sit all day long and message. And that's okay because I can still get my messages in at different points during the day. So I know like some people will set a timer and do 10 minutes here and 10 minutes there and 10 minutes in another place. I like to do like an hour block. So usually when I put the baby down for a nap, that's my time that I'm going to message and I'm going to post and I'm going to add friends and make sure that I do it at that point in time. Being consistent with it, but find what works with your schedule.
Yeah. Find what works. Make sure you're putting in the work because there's so many different ways to do it, but still make sure you're doing it. I'll tell you guys, one of the things that has helped me so much, even last month, I was a part of an accountability group where I had to click on a poll that I did the tasks every day. And I was like, oh, I'm not as consistent as I thought I was, like, you know? And so that was helpful for me to go, okay, 10, you know, did I do this for 15 minutes straight? Or, you know, did I do this? And so I love that. And I think it's super inspiring when you look at all the different people that can go Diamond. Like you can do it. You can do it. I know Danielle didn't say this, but somebody was in the hospital in the midst of her working as well, with a baby, with, life just happening, and just go for it. And so thank you so much for sharing it with us, Rebecca. It's super inspiring. I mean, Diamond in 3 months. So here's the deal, guys. Somebody that's your loyal customer, right? Or somebody that you asked to host a post, go back and ask them, just like Krista said, if you have this, even if it's just a little twinkle of like, ooh, I should ask them, immediately follow that, immediately jump on that feeling. If you have, I'm a voice memo, so I'm like, hey, I'm just thinking about you. I think you would be awesome. I don't know if it's something you've ever thought about, but would you like to make some extra money on the side? Ask. And I think one of the reasons, honestly, that Rebecca came back to me after someone else told her about it was because I asked her first to do the business. Okay. So you might not get a yes immediately, but that person you asked might come back mid-December this month and be a Diamond by March on your team. One person can change your whole business. And so find the time, put out the messages, and do the massive action. I love that. Thank you so much, Rebecca. All right, Melissa Dean. Guys, are you loving this so far? Aren't these ladies amazing? Okay, here you are.
All right. Hi, guys. So good to see everybody again. Okay, so I went diamond in 6 weeks, and I'm going to kind of, 6 weeks since I started working. So I'm going to kind of walk you through like what happened, like how I got to that point, how to relate it to today, and then my biggest tip that I can give you guys. But I joined on Christmas Day, 2014. So this year it'll be 5 years. And I actually joined because my friend Hillary was selling the wraps. I was working full-time at Victoria's Secret as a district manager. It was Christmas, New Year's. Most of you guys know Victoria's Secret goes Christmas, New Year's, semi-annual sale, Valentine's Day. So we don't breathe from like October to March. And so she was selling these wraps, and I just had my third baby in 3 years. And so I was going to buy the wraps from her. But for some reason, I still cannot tell you to this day why I pressed join instead of shop, but I pressed join. Never told anybody, didn't tell my husband, just sat on it. And my story's on my page, but I was really depressed that year. Like I had the 3 babies under 3. I was working full time. My husband was working opposite shifts. He's a SWAT officer in one of the top 10 most dangerous cities in the US. So he was working nights, I was working days. All 3 babies were in daycare, over $2,000 a month in California. So we didn't have a tree. We didn't have presents. We wrapped presents from that they already had. And he had to work on Christmas that year. So I woke up and I was like feeling real bad for myself, you know, and I'm like, I'm going to go buy myself some skinny wraps. And I hit join instead. And that's kind of just how it happened by the grace of God. Like she didn't even ask me about it and nothing. And you guys, if your enroller quits, mine quit like 3 days after I joined. So I never had an enroller to teach me anything, nothing at all. Thank goodness I was following Sherry Lynn because Hillary had connected me with Sherry Lynn, and I added all Sherry's friends that were with the business. And so I kind of just watched, like I sat back and watched. It was crazy, crazy, crazy busy in that season of my life. And I wasn't quite sure I wanted to go there because I was rising in the corporation that I was in. And I was kind of like Danielle, like I wasn't sure like what people were going to say. If I was going to get a negative reaction from my job from that, because I was doing something outside. I wasn't sure if that was against policy. So I kind of just kept it like hush hush. But then Sherry and Stacy went to conference that year. And that was like end of January, beginning of February. So I kind of been sitting on the business for like, what was that, 2 months? Basically 2 months. And then they went to conference. They announced a $20,000 double good bonus. And they had created so much excitement around this bonus. And I'm like, I'm going to go for this bonus. I don't know what the heck I'm doing. Don't have any idea about any of these products. Like I had no clue. So they announced the bonus. I literally went on my eSuite, printed up every single product, made myself a little book. And at lunch, on my lunch breaks, I would literally like read all the products and all the things in the document library. We didn't have training videos back then. We had no training videos on eSuite. We had no training videos on, we didn't have boot camps. We didn't have, nothing. We had nothing. And so it was like, we all grew together with this business. So I literally printed out everything that I could. And I used my work computer for it a lot of the time. So, but you can get it from the library for free. And I just went through everything. And then I just decided, I'm like, I'm going to do a wrap party and see what happens. And back then we did wrap parties a lot. Now they're sip and samples, which I love the sip and sample concept, but I did a wrap party. And I had 8 of my best friends come over who also worked with me. So that was like kind of super hush hush. But they all wrapped. They all had amazing results. And all 8 of them signed up as distributors on the spot. And so that was my first wrap party. And so then at that wrap party, because they all joined, we scheduled wrap parties for all 8. And then every wrap party I went to, we scheduled another wrap party. So I did not post one thing on social media from when I started to going diamond. Not one thing. I didn't have one conversation outside of my warm market. And I went from 1,800 BV at the end of February to 10,200 BV at the end of March. And it was all just through wrap parties. So if you like to get out there in person, do events, wrap parties, sip and samples are doing really well right now. So I'm personally excited to get back out because I loved doing wrap parties. And then, the bigger your team gets, the harder it kind of seems to get out there and do those kind of things. So each season of my business, I've done something different. From diamond to double, I went double in a year. it was all warm market social media. Once I went diamond, I felt comfortable putting it out there that this business was paying for my daycare and that it was something, it was on the side. And at that point I talked to my boss and like, you know, all that stuff. So I got the $20,000 bonus. It paid for my daycare for a year. It was awesome. And then each season of my business, you guys, I've really done something different. So like I have built myself up to presidential and dropped to Ruby, built myself up to presidential and dropped to Ruby twice, and hit triple diamond this last March. And I would say each season has been a learning process, but you never, ever want to give up, because this year, will be 5 years this Christmas. We just paid for every single Christmas present in cash in one shopping trip. We were just like, okay, we're getting everything. One trip. We have our tree. We have over more than I made in an entire year as a district manager for a large corporation in our savings account. We paid an entire year of our house payment up front. Like we're in a place where it's like, had I not like done the research and copied the right cats, right? So Sherry was really good about staying ahead of the game, and she was doing parties every week. And so I started doing like online events. So I started doing online events. And for 5 years, every single Sunday, I do an online event. I still do it. I did one yesterday. It wasn't Sunday, but I did one yesterday for the brand new launch. So it's like, you always have to be kind of like moving forward. And if you're doing something that's not working, do something else. Just because it's working for somebody doesn't mean it's going to work for you. But find that person, you know, or people, and run with those people. Sorry, I was kind of looking at the chats too. So, but yeah, I just partied my way to diamond.
Okay. And I love that. And I love that you're saying you've got to do what works for you. There are times in this business where we can get so caught up in comparing ourselves and what we're doing to everybody else. And then you don't do anything. And so you're like, get in there, do the work, find what's working for you, and go for it. Now, really quick, Melissa, how did you get people to have parties for you? What'd you do? Like to diamond, how did you keep having parties?
So kind of funny, I just was unpacking at our new house and I found this. This is literally from like 2015. My office is a mess, you guys. Okay, so this is like this chintzy little game that I made. It is literally like the most ghetto thing ever. And it's pull a prize jar. So everybody that was at the party would pull a prize. Like 90% of these are free wrap party. And then one will be like free facial, free, you know, whatever. I think I had wow on here. Like, you want a free greens chew sample. Like that's how old these are. Wow sample. And then like, but like probably like over half of these, if not almost all of them, are you earned a free wrap party. And I would just schedule them right there when I was there. And I would wrap the host for free, because I would get so many customers from these wrap parties that I was using my wrap rewards. So I was still making money. Like I was having to invest the money up front to buy the wraps, but I was getting all of that back and then some. But I never left a party without booking another party, because I didn't have time. Like between my work, my kids, my husband's schedule, like I had every excuse to not make this happen in a month, 6 weeks. So I was like, okay, here's my calendar. Like I only have this day, this day, and this day. What day do you want? And then I would like put them in, and then I would just keep following up with them and be like, okay, we're still set. Like how many people do I need to bring stuff for? So
I love that. That's awesome. So the different prize you can win is you get a free sip and sample, or wait, pop-up table at your house.
Yeah, pop-up shop, whatever they call it.
That's coming to your house for free. I love that. Just getting in there and getting in person. It's true. So what you can do in person, how you can explain it, man. Yes, we partied our way all the way there. And it's so fun putting that wrap on, seeing that change people go, oh, I really need that product. The last sip and sample I had, we just sat around a table and people were like, ooh, I don't like that celery at all. Oh, that's not bad. What does this help with? It's just, it was just, people talking and conversating, and it was awesome. Okay. And then do what works for you is your tip. If it's not working, figure it out and do something different. There's something
different, or just because something worked at one point doesn't mean it's going to continue to work. Like you always have to keep reinventing, yourself and what you're doing. And then I would say too, going on into 5 years at this point, like in the beginning and even now, I've heavily relied on my sideline sisters. Like Stacy, Sherry, Kelly, Nicole Camp, like I'm Celeste, like I can't even name Liz Lundy. Like there's so many people that I, reached out to, and we help each other. And to this day, I reach out to people all the time that aren't even in Diamond Empire. And you find those people that you click with, and they give you ideas that you hadn't thought about before, and you give them ideas that maybe they hadn't thought about before. So always like putting yourself out there, introducing yourself to other people, asking if anybody wants an accountability partner, something, can be with Diamond Empire. It could be with another business. Like we're one team, one mission. And that's one of the things that I love the most about this company. So if you feel stuck, find a sideline sister and pick their brain. And sometimes you can collaborate and come up with amazing things together. Like I've done some amazing Zooms with Danielle, I can never pronounce her name, Jabanowski or something. She's like another triple going for prez. So you just put yourself out there, introduce yourself, and yeah, just keep doing. If it's not working, do something different.
Yeah, I love that. And you want to be in people's boats that are going up, not the boats that are sinking. So when you're picking the accountability people, don't pick the people that will jump in your boat with you and sink with you. Okay. Pick the people that are like, okay, I'm hopping in that boat right now because that boat's going where I want to go. And I need that perspective and that attitude. And I need somebody to, sometimes kick me in the hiney and say, Stacey, get out of your head and get to work. And then other times just to have fun, because this business is so fun. Especially when you're surrounded with those people. Thank you so much, Melissa. That was awesome. Guys, you can party your way to Diamond. You can social media, add 5,000 friends your way to Diamond. You can, and 6 weeks. That's it. She worked at 6 weeks, full-time job, 3 babies, partying at people's house. But what it's paid off for now, paying that first year mortgage that you said? Uh-oh. I lost you.
Sorry. First year of daycare, which it was over $2,000 a month, every single month. So, and then when I went double, I left my job, and I've been a full-time stay-at-home mom. I had a little stint where I went back to work. And I got an amazing job as a hospital manager, and I rebuilt myself back up to a double diamond, a steady double diamond. So like, talk about sinking ships, like don't plug holes in a sinking ship, rebuild a new ship. Like if you have people that aren't working, don't worry about them and work with the people that are, because you're going to build a much stronger, faster ship, which is another thing that I learned. But yeah, it was a year of daycare that paid for that six hard weeks of work, paid for an entire year of daycare for me.
I love that. Awesome. So y'all, here's another thing. Christmas Day, don't discount this business, because somebody might be waking up Christmas Day sad, not happy with what's going on in their life, wanting to change, even if they seem successful in the business they're in. They're paying $2,000 a month for their kids to be with somebody else so they can go work, and maybe they want to be with their kids. Maybe that's not the life they wanted, but sometimes we judge if people are successful or not and forget to put it out there and ask them if this is something they'd be interested in. And so plant those seeds. Okay, thank you so much, Melissa. So awesome. Okay. All right, Yadira.
Hi, everyone. My name is Yadira, and I'm a double diamond. And Kelly Brown is my amazing leader. I literally today went back to Instagram to our messages, and I went back all the way to when she first messaged me, because I have forgotten the date exactly. And she messaged me May 7th of last year. And I didn't respond to her till July. And then, our conversation started. Our conversation started then, but for those 2 months, I was following her. I was watching her. I was reading her posts every day, and I just kept being drawn to her and her family and what she was doing. So I responded eventually on July 22nd, and I said, "Hey, can I have more information?" And she's like, "Sure." And so she gave me, all the information about the business. And I think I responded, I said, "Oh, I have a list of questions I want to ask you." So I went back and I messaged her the questions, and she answered everything to me. And everything sounded great. So at that time, I joined. I think a few days after that, I joined for just $20. You guys had the $20 deal going, and I'm like, what am I gonna lose for just $20? So I jumped in and I enrolled, but then, I was scared. I didn't know if I was gonna be good at this, and so just fear kept getting into my mind, into my head. And so I messaged her and I'm like, you know what? I don't feel right about this. I don't feel like I can start doing this right now. And she's like, oh no, what happened? What's wrong? And I just said, no, I'm not, I don't feel like I can do this right now. I just don't feel right. And so I didn't forget about it. I just didn't message her back. She didn't message me back either. And then she said, and then one day in December, I'm like, okay, I have to do something because we are needing money. We were building a home, and we needed money for the extra things with our move. At that time, we were living with my mom and dad in their basement, just waiting for our house to be finished. And Jorge, my husband, he's like, you know what? You should message that lady back and tell her that you want to start this, that you want to give it a try. So after much prayer and pondering if that was the right thing, I messaged her back. After we moved into our house, we were in our own place. I was, I had the room, my own space to do this business. And so I said, okay, I'm going to message her back. And I did. And she welcomed me with open arms. She helped me along the way every day. She was there for me. She helped me with everything I needed to learn. And which this is really important, I did everything that she told me to do. Everything she suggested me to do, I did. At that time, I was working as a crossing guard. So it was just a little part-time job. I was going to the crosswalk early in the morning, dragging my little 2-year-old with me. I have 2 teenagers that fend for themselves, but and then I would just work my business inside my car while I waited for the kids to come to the crosswalk. And I don't know if you remember, Kelly, I would get on the Zooms Friday mornings with my little crossing guard vest, and I would just use my headset and I would just listen to it while I was crossing the kids, which is probably not the safest thing, but I was just doing like one ear. I could hear with the other ear. But that's how I did my business, out of my car in the mornings, and then again in the afternoons, and then in the pockets of time that I had during the day. I did it. I mean, I did everything she told me to. I messaged people, I host a post, I grew my network, which it took me a while to grow it, but I still did it. And then the distributors I had under me, I helped them, and I learned on my own. But she was there to guide me along the way. And so I think that's so important, that if you want this, you are gonna be self-motivated, and you're just gonna do what your enroller tells you to do. And so I started working December 8th of last year. That was my first post that I posted on that date. And then I went Ruby I double promoted executive to Ruby in January, and then I went from Ruby to Diamond in February, and then double Diamond the following month in March. And since then, I mean, I think I've grown a lot. I still have a lot to work on, but my tip is self-development. It's taking me almost a year to finally find a schedule that works for me, just because of our, the different seasons. With kids at home in the summer, I found my schedule for those months. Then after kids went back to school, I had to find a new schedule, just because I still have a 3-year-old at home. And so I have to, give her time. And so now I'm just like waking up very early in the morning, doing my tasks so that I could be mostly free during the day, just messaging people back and forth or talking to potential customers, talking to my team. But I know that my tasks are done for the day. And if I have time, I will do another power hour where I can put in my task a second time. And then I have the help of my husband to put her to bed if we have these Zooms at night. And so it just takes a little organization and help from the family. I have my in-laws that they live with us, and my mother-in-law, she cooks. She cooked today. So I have her help to make dinner for us if I am busy with Zooms or busy with work. But if you really want this, you can make it work. You just have to look at your schedule and make it work. And then one thing about self-development, this last month of November was so much better than October. October, I felt so much like negativity coming from me, from my mind. Like I couldn't do this, that I can't, I'm not good enough, that I'm stuck. I feel like I'm not moving forward. I'm just moving back. And as I started my self-development consistently every day, reading my scriptures, praying, I saw such a huge difference in November. Like today, my little girl is sick, so we went to the doctors, me and Jorge with her, and I asked my husband, I didn't complain at all last month, did I? Like, did I tell you something negative that was happening to me? And he's like, no. And I felt so much different. So I think I've jumped that hurdle. And another thing, don't compare yourself to other people. That's another thing that I used to do a lot. And now I'm just focusing on my work, on my team. If it's gonna take me longer than someone, I will get there. I know I will. But everyone, it will be a different story. Everyone has their own story.
So true. Everybody has their own story. And I love that. Self-development is so key. Everybody, if you have a favorite book or a favorite ebook or a YouTube that you like, or I was going to say an iPod, a podcast, put that in there, throw it in there so you can get that from different people, because it is powerful. Your self-development will carry you through so much. But I have an action step for you all too. Okay. This is your action step from what Yadira said. Any distributor that joined you this year that said, I just can't do this, I want you to voice memo them, or you can voice memo yourself right now and say, hey, I know this year was rough and some life happened, but I am so excited about this business and I can't stop thinking about you. Do you want to jump back in and try it? Because I think this is your year and you would be amazing at it. Reach out to somebody right now. Go back and just ask. Just throw it out there. You don't know what's going to come back to you. Look we all have people that go MIA. Yadira's like, not for me, gone. You're like, oh, hello, where'd you go? Okay, they're gone, but then decided to work. And so don't necessarily give up on those people. Now, you don't want to wait around for everybody. You do want to work with the people who are working for sure and find that out. But sometimes it just wasn't the right time. So maybe now's the right time. And that's okay to send out too. So you can send out to potential DTs. Hey, I know before wasn't the right time. Guys, I want you all to do this tonight too. I have a potential DT and a DT message for you. Okay. Potential DT that you've asked before. Hey, I know before wasn't the right time, but I am so excited about what's happening in my business right now. And I can't stop thinking about you being a part. Is now a good time? Okay. Got that? That's for all your potential DTs that you've talked to, because guys, this is an exciting time right now. And then your other one, hey, some life happened, but if you're willing to go for it, I really want to lock arms with you and do this business together. Would that be something you'd like to? All right. So make sure you do that. Yadira, look at all these great books. Layla, oh, okay. I love all this, what you guys are saying. Mommy Millionaire podcast. Ooh, that sounds fun. All right, you guys, we're going diamond. So we've had somebody who went diamond in 6 months that had to overcome fear. We had somebody who went diamond in 4 years that had to be consistent and walk through some life. We had somebody go diamond in 3 months with kids, doing it from her phone while nursing a baby. We've had somebody party their way with a full-time job all the way to diamond. We've had Yadira, who has her kids in the car on the stuff. Sometimes even if you can't participate, guys, hearing helps, right? Hearing helps so much. And so that's hopefully the goal tonight. And Yadira, thank you so much for sharing with us. You were amazing. So good. Way to go. Dream board, check off.
Yes.
Okay, Stori. We've got another powerful story. Another powerful story. Here we go.
Hello.
Hey, girl. Hey. Tell us your story, sister.
Okay, I'm a story.
Yep.
So hey y'all, I am, first of all, I'm these guys are so good. I love listening to all this stuff, and it's taking me back, especially listening to Melissa Dean. Just, we're like the OGs, like take it way back. But so I'm Stori. I'm a double diamond. I joined in November of 2014. So I actually just had my 5-year anniversary, which is crazy. Like, I don't know what the big difference is between 4 years and 5 years, but something about this 5th year is just like, I'm doing so much reflecting, more than usual. If anybody knows me, I'm like a huge reflector. And so anyways, I am going to share a couple of things that Stacey asked me to talk about going diamond. First of all, y'all, so I was a stay-at-home mom. When I joined, I had never met my enroller. I didn't see her on Facebook. I'd never heard of It Works. I met Sherry Lynn at our daughter's dance class, and she would wear her little It Works shirt. And it was like her, me, and like 5 of my friends that I knew, and then Sherry Lynn. And she was always coming in all cute like she is, you know, and we were in our yoga pants and looking a hot mess, and we're always like, who is this girl coming in here just like slaying the day in the middle of the day at 10 a.m. Like, we're just sitting to dance. Like, who is this girl? So she was always just super intriguing, but she would wear her It Works shirt, and one of the girls one day said, what is that? Like, what is that? And so everybody was kind of like, whoop, like somebody asked the question that everybody was wondering. She immediately whipped out her before and afters. And at the time, I had been really starting to pray about some way to make just a couple $100 from home. So I have worked since I was 15 years old. I could not wait to be on my own and make my own money. And that's just kind of part of my personality. I've always had very long-term jobs. My job before this, I was a corporate executive CEO's assistant, and worked for that man for 10 years. And it was a career. It was I didn't go to college or anything, but I always put everything into my work. So when we had Reese, I decided that we would stay home. And I kind of always knew in the back of my mind that I would stay home because my mom stayed home, and I remember her always being around, and that made an impact on me. And I'm kind of a control freak, and I couldn't stand the idea of somebody else like raising my baby, like mostly because I'm like, I want them to do it my way. But I wanted to be a part of it. I never actually even wanted kids, to be honest, but I'm like, well, if I'm going to have them, like, I want to be with them, So we decided I would stay home, but that I would go back to work after, our children were in elementary school. So I did that. Life with Reese was great. It was blissful. That first baby, you're like, oh, everything, you think everything's great. You got your schedule, you're chill. My second one came along, my little Ruby girl, about 2 years later, rocked my ever-loving world. She was not my easy baby. She was like just totally flipped my lid. So the girls were 3 and 1, and I just had started to kind of lose myself. All that to say, I'd kind of started to lose myself. I'd forgotten like who I was, the story that worked since I was 15. At this point, I had my kids a little later in life. I think I was 35 at this point. So not working was like not settling right with me, but I knew I didn't want to go back to work because I did want to be with my kids. So I just kind of wanted to make my own money. I didn't like not having that money. So that was kind of what I was looking for. I had applied to like Stitch Fix because they had like an online, which I still do part-time. They like never responded to my resume, which I was super offended. But literally like a week later is when somebody said this to Sherry, and I was like, well, shoot, well, maybe I could do that. And so I literally chased her out the door and said, hey, I think I want to do that business. And she was like, okay. So everybody that like watches it for, people, like I'm always so intrigued, like, what does that feel like? Cause I was just like, I was like, what's your last name? And I looked her up on Facebook. Like I didn't even know what her last name was. So, and I never done anything like this before. So, I joined. She had to kind of chase me for a little bit. Like I get distracted super easily. So I forgot, like, so anybody that hasn't written you back, just because they said like, yeah, I want to do it. Don't like think that they changed their mind or life is busy. Like, so I always have to remind myself of that. So finally after like, I think she had to follow up with me twice. I finally did it November 17th, 2014. And then, I didn't do anything for 6 weeks. I did get signed up just my best friends. Our very first Rat BOGO was when I signed up. And so it was like right at Thanksgiving. And so a couple of my best friends bought some from me. And so I did get my shopping spree. And actually I was 1 day short. So this is for anybody who maybe got upset that you didn't get your shopping spree. I was, had 3 customers and Sherry Lynn gave me, I will never forget that day 30. I was so mad at myself that I didn't try harder. All of a sudden I was like, I want that shopping spree. What was I thinking? And so Sherry Lynn actually transferred my 4th customer to me. And honestly, if she had not have done that, I don't know that I would still be doing this, because I remember being like feeling so indebted to her and so grateful, because at that same time I was like, why didn't I do, what was I thinking? Like, I didn't even realize I was a goal person until I realized I wasn't going to make the goal, And so when she did that and I made it, I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. And so I went to everything that she did. That is going to be one of my huge pieces of advice is you've got to go and plug in on the things. If you're just going to do this in an isolated manner, you're not going to make it, because you're going to be in your own mind. And we all know that being in your own head is like the worst place to be. So you've got to get around people. If you're not local, so what? Like there's enough things that you can be involved. But you've got to be getting fed into by these people, because like Mela said, and all these girls have said, like the sidelines that your sisters and the relationships you will make, if you allow yourself to make them, will absolutely be they're going to be your glue that holds you into this business, because it is going to get hard. Like, don't think like this is going to be some free ride. There's going to be times when you're like, what am I doing? This is hard. This sucks. Like, I'm not good at this. Or like Yadira said, I don't think I can do it. You're going to have those moments. We all have them. I know Sherry Lynn's had them. Stacey's had them. Kelly Brown has had them. Like, you're going to have it. So if you don't have that glue, if you don't do that self-development, if you don't have that commitment in your mind, you're not going to make it. So just decide that you're going to have that. The other thing that I will say is a reason that I went diamond is because I told myself when I signed up, even though I didn't do anything right away, once I got going, I was like, okay, I'm doing this for a year. And that's what I told my mom when I made her sign up in January. I was like, hey, I don't know, but we're doing it. Let's just try it for a year. Like really try. And I didn't know what that looked like. We didn't have host posts back then. We didn't have scripts. We didn't have messages. We didn't have anything. Like y'all have it so good. Am I right? Like so good. Like I would be done ambassador by now if I would have started in 2015 or whatever, 2018, 2019. You guys just have it so great. But one thing I will say is that, I'll back up, but I partied my way kind of like Mel did. I partied my way to diamond. Sherry from the very first day. And again, just like all the girls are saying, I did what she told me to do. I'll never forget her first online party that I was going to be a part of. She invited me over to her house. I didn't know these people, and it was so out of my comfort zone to do anything with people that I didn't know. But for some reason, like y'all know the pull of Sherry Lynn, I'll call it. It's just like, okay, like I'll do whatever you say. So she invited me. She was like, you're coming over to do this online party with me. And I was like, okay. So I went over there, and that was back when we have to like wait 3 minutes and like post the next post. Like we didn't have like cinch whatever the thing is where it goes automatically. Like we would have to literally do it, go like do all the things. So I went and helped her with it, and she was like, hey, how's your posting going? Like, how's your business going? And I had not posted yet. This was 6 weeks in. And she was like, what do you mean? And I was like, I haven't done anything. She's like, this is what you're going to do. You're going to go home. You're going to fix your hair. I've told this story. You're going to go home. You're going to fix your hair. You're going to put a wrap on, and you're going to take your picture. And the next day you're going to post it. And I was like, I don't want to. Like, I don't want to post my belly on. Like, no, like, I don't want to do that. But I was just like, this is what she told me I have to do. And I told myself I was going to do this. So I did what she told me to do. And I will be darned if my phone didn't start blowing up with that results picture And granted, there's a little bit of difference today because we don't blow it up like we used to, but not really. I think that's like a lie we tell ourselves. So I did what she told me to do. I invited people to the online party. I still will never forget somebody that's super random and removed from me that I was a Facebook friend with, jumping on that online party and becoming a loyal customer. And she's still one of my best customers today, like 5 years later. It's like my husband's best friend's sister who I like kind of knew. Like you got to just like think outside the box. So I did wrap parties, same thing. Like I would make sure that I invited somebody else, and y'all, that kind of went away for a minute, but now they've got pop-ups. And I think like everything comes full circle. So I love that it's coming back because it makes me want to get back out there and be like, okay, like we've got new stuff to talk about. Maybe people got burnt out on the wraps or whatever, but there's all kinds of new stuff. Like we've completely reinvented ourselves. So there's really no reason not to do those. So parties, getting in front of people. I did have a launch party. My best friend had a launch party for me. That was where a lot of my customers and just came from, and just my warm market. So all of that kind of got me to Diamond, and then just doing what Sherry Lynn told me to do. About Ruby came, and I was like, woo, like $500 average per month. I'm so excited. Well, guess what? My check was not $500. And your girl was disappointed. And I remember calling Sherry Lynn, but I remember thinking, I have to give it a year. I have to give it a year. And I went Ruby, I think, in 3 months. And so I called her and I was like, yo, like, this is like a lot of work, you know, for this $350 check or $300 check or whatever. Like, I don't know about this. And she was like, just keep on going. You're going Diamond. You're going Diamond. And I was like, really? Like, okay. So I just listened to what she said because I trusted her. And honestly, I don't know why, but I trusted her. Like the person you've signed up with, for some reason you trust them, even if you don't know them from Adam, because I really didn't. Well, I didn't know her. She was an absolute stranger. But I could tell when I started getting around the people that she was involved with and the people in our company, Stacy, Kelly, at the time, I was like, these are good people. Like I could just feel and sense that there was some kind of something different going on with these people. And it was nothing like I expected. Like I've told people, like, I'll never forget being at that first monthly training that Sherry dragged me to, and John opening in a word of prayer. And I was like, whoa, wait, what? like what have I gotten myself into? And honestly, you know, now that's my favorite part. But I think keeping an open mind about every single aspect of this business is going to get you there. If you close your mind to any part of it, you will not make it. You've got to stay open-minded about all the things because it's all going to be uncomfortable, like all going to be unfamiliar. You haven't done any of this. Like, I know that Stacy asked me to talk about like, what I was going to say real quick, that you didn't join with the timeline. Like you didn't join saying, well, I'm going to go Diamond in however long. Like you didn't even know what that was when you joined. So what if it takes you 4 years to go Diamond? Like, so what? So what if it takes you 7 years to go Ruby? Like, so what? That's an extra $500 a month. You didn't know what that was when you started. So just go for it. But what did I have to overcome? I mean, I don't know. Like that's something that I don't know that I really thought on that. And I was like, I guess it would be unbelief, but I don't know that I like to call that overcome, because I don't know if I've completely overcome that, because there's a lot of unbelief that I still have about my next goals. But, it's a work in progress, and you have to give yourself so much grace. And I think if you just can stay consistently committed every single day, going back in, like when I did my 5-year post, it was like, man, I like added up all the hours, like in 5 years, the weeks, the days, how many posts that must have equated to. And that's a lot, y'all. It was, you know, even if you only posted once a day for 5 years, which I pretty much have, I think I missed like 7 days total at, you know, different times. That's almost 2,000 posts. And just that alone, the magnitude of that, and you know that there was more than that because we used to post like 5 or 6 times a day. You got to give yourself some grace that this is just something totally different, that's not anything that most of us would have done before, but that there's purpose behind it. Like there's a reason that you're doing it, and you got to take it off the table that you're supposed to do it when so-and-so was supposed to do it. Y'all, I went double diamond in 18 months, but here I am 5 years later, and I sometimes, like, I don't want to say I'm double diamond, but you know what? Today I was like, I'm proud to be that, because when I joined this, I was hoping for $100 a month. I was hoping for $100 or $200 a month. And who am I to say that this is not the path that God has me on? Who am I to say that this is not the pace of grace that he's put me on? It's my pace. And you do have to find your pace. You know, some of you want to blow it out of the water and go in 3 months or 3 weeks or 6 weeks, or, you know, some of these girls, and I'm like, that is amazing. And it's so easy to get caught up and be like, why am I not doing that? I must not be good enough. No, ma'am. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do that that's not your pace of grace. That's theirs. And there's going to be different things that they have to overcome, getting to diamond, getting to double, getting to all those things. And I know we're not talking about past diamond necessarily, but it's the same thing. You know, it's the same thing. So whether you're trying to go ruby or trying to go emerald, like those are hard things to do, but you can do it. But you've got to give yourself more grace and just know that if you're consistent and you do all the things that your enroller tells you to do, and my gosh, if your enroller is not around, find somebody else, because there's a sideline sister out there that will help you, that will be happy to answer your 13 million texts a day. Like I struggle a little bit when people don't text me as much as I texted Sherry, because I'm like, that's how I worked. I was just like, question. You like Google, you know, what YouTube can I watch? What thing can I look up? What tips from the top? Like you better get on all of it and just learn it, because it's not up to your enroller to teach you how to go diamond. It's up to you. You join this business. So if you want to go diamond, figure it out. Be proactive with something for once in your life if you've never been before. I am so not red. I literally have 0% red in my personality quiz. 0. But I will be darned if I will not get there. If anybody had an excuse to quit right now, it would be me right now. And that's because I've watched everybody that I started with, people that have come in way after me, go surpass me. And there's so many times that I had a little pity party about that. But you know what? It's not my pace. It's not the pace that I'm meant to be on. And I already know that I'm not meant to quit. I know that I'm meant to be in this business. I know I'm meant to teach and reach lives, and that I will get there. So who cares how long it takes? So did I go over all the things?
You nailed it, sister. You nailed it. And you're so right. Wherever you are in your journey, that is where you are. And you know what? Obstacles, sometimes we like to say that obstacles are God's will to tell us no. And that is
No.
the furthest thing from how God works. Obstacles are our opportunity to grow. And that's where we get stuck. And that's the thing in this business. The only time when people quit is because they're not willing to grow. They're not willing to change. They're not willing to take another step outside their comfort zone. But somehow you got to get comfortable being uncomfortable. And that's where you're going to be successful in this business, because you did it. And you're right. Everybody has pretty much said that, you know, success leaves clues. I did what my enroller said. I did what they said. I did what they told me to do. I tried. And you know what? And one of the biggest things everybody has said tonight is to get out of your head, you know, and do the things. And that's just part of it. The enemy works so great in our head, but that's why I'm glad you're on tonight, because, you know, I loved that quote from the Lisa DeCurse book. Like, if the enemy can isolate you, he can influence you. So you get on the things, you do the things, you be like Yadira, walking kids across the crossing guard with one earbud in, you know, still hearing everything else, but you get in, you surround yourself, and you be around the people, and you don't know whose story you're going to connect with and what's going to show you, I can do this. Or you can turn around and go, you know what, if somebody wasn't on tonight that should have been on with you, man, I wish you had been there, because this person reminds me of exactly where you are. And it just made me go, you can do this too. I so believe in you. And, you know, that's just where it's at, guys. I said this at the very beginning of this Zoom. It's not that people can't, it's a lot of times just that they won't. And when people stick in and stick through the mud and just stick with it, that's when a new thing happens. And I believe tonight's story, a new things happened for you. I believe that 100%. And it just makes me excited and pumped for what's to come. And so thank you, guys.
Thank you. Can I say one last thing?
Yes.
Okay, I'll be fast. I know we're super over, but I just want people to know, like, if there is something that you're struggling with, like, that is the area that you need to work on. And it's not, like Stacey said, it's not a sign like, well, maybe I shouldn't be doing this. No, like that's exactly like what the enemy wants you to think. And that's actually where God's trying to develop your character. Like that is the spot that he wants to develop you. And he wants you to be ready to go to that next level because he loves you so much. He doesn't want you to send you there without being ready. And that's what I've had to learn. But my gosh, I would not have learned that if I didn't work on all those areas and talk to him about, okay, like you don't go looking at your team. You don't go looking at who's not working. That literally has nothing to do with why you're not going diamond. Not one single thing. Not one single thing. You have to look at yourself every single time. And it is so hard. It will make you want to run for the hills. But like, if you're not looking at yourself, God, what is it you are trying to show me? Like, what is it you're trying to teach me? And if something comes in your head, don't you push it down. That is where you go. That's the self-development you do. You Google that. Confidence, bravery, whatever, like insecurity, like, and that's what you read or Google, watch a video on, find a book on that subject, listen to a sermon on that subject, because he's going to peel you back in layers. And it might not go at the rate you want it to go. It's not going at the rate I thought it was going to go, but I never had a rate from the day one anyways. You know what I mean? So it's like, go at your own pace and just know like he's going to get you there when he knows that you're ready so that you can sustain it.
I love it. His timing is often different than ours. And again, sometimes we don't need to ask when, God, but what, God? What do you gotta say? You know, what do you want to do? Let me pray for y'all. Heavenly Father, I thank you so much for each and every person still in the Zoom, the ones that were on it. I know we went over time, but Lord, I believe that in little ways, in little whispers, in little stories, and in big ways you're speaking. And I pray, Lord, that we would stop and listen to what you're telling us. And I pray, Lord, just for a spirit of like tenacity just to be upon this team, to not give it up, to not quit, to stick with it, to keep going, to get out of our minds and just go for it and be comfortable being uncomfortable, and to let us continue to grow and change and to become everything you want us to be, because that's really where it's at, God, where true fulfillment is. And so we give you all the glory. I thank you for the people that are joining this month on this team with these leaders, the ones you're raising up, the people who have been scared, who are taking another step. Lord, we thank you for them. In your name we pray. Amen. All right, y'all. Good night.